Well, we're jumping right in here. This is working on the Godot Asset Store. So I originally had a Godot Asset Store up, which you can see. GodotAssetStore.org. Now this mostly just pulls from the current Godot library website for all these things, and then it dumped it into a database for representation here. But we're gonna actually, oh, that's not good. So none of the downloads, I guess, work from here. You can view source in GitHub. So there's a number of issues with this site. One, the style of it is not that great. Two, none of the downloads work. Three, I want to try and make it so there's actually a model for uploading things and as well as selling things, but baby steps. I'm basically going to redo all of this and work out logging in and authentication today, and then progress more. What we're going to do is we're going to do these in 30-minute increments. So what we're going to do is we're going to say 30 minutes, and let's play on that. You can see the little counter up here too. And we're going to see first if we can do the login site. So, so far what I have is now. So this is from a rebuild. I created a workspace in Visual Studio Code where I have the one that I'm working on, Godot Asset Store Current, which is the one that's currently live. And then I have a restaurant reviews website, which is just a project I worked on for a job interview thing. And basically, I kind of liked how I did a lot of the code in it as far as unit testing and backend systems and APIs. So this is what I currently have as the new look and feel for this site. To see them side by side, going more with a standard dark theme. Nice simple category structure. We're going to have members only content, non-members content, and both. So basically I'm going to have the filters as sort of a permanent thing here, which I'm going to probably put it in like a little hamburger menu thing so you can hide and remove that stuff. Prior to this, so this site here is just all static content. There's really nothing going on here. I just created a sign-in link here with, I use Fontillo, which provides a nice little font base, which you can use in your code to basically say, oh, okay, I want to have this thing and this thing and this thing. So right here, I just have user circle, and I made a custom name for it. I called it login, and you can download the web font. And I imported that right into my tree here. I believe it's under public. Nope. Oh yeah, I put it under source Fontillo. So I just drop it into its own directory. We have a components directory, and we have an app directory, an app file. So right now the app is really the thing that's doing all the representation of stuff here. We've got a nav bar. We've got a logo. We've got our filter section, which is a component, and you can see has all of the structure for the filters. Just static stuff here right now. We have content section, so the content section is represented by this part of the site. So right now we have a lipsum component which does the lipsum text. And we have a sign in. So I'm using the reach router, which I find much better than the React router. I can't even remember why I didn't care too much for the React router, but this one winds up being very simple in its structure. So in essence, you just say, okay, for this path, load this component in here. This path, load this component in here. So if I click on sign in, the URL changes to sign in, so it will load the sign in page. Now we're going to need some parts in. So we have components, which I consider basically, individual pieces of pages to use, and we have pages, which we have a sign-in page right now. So let's say a sign-in page, we're going to need a login and a register. So let's just try and do the quick layout for that. So constant, let's say we just do fields, set fields equals use state, and it starts out with nothing, and we're just going to do this as login page. We'll have to come up with a registration page after this. We'll give this page 2, and we'll give it a field set. Yep. And then we'll do a label, and we'll have username. Input type equal, we don't need type. Name equals username, and let's put the label around it so we can actually let's wrap it with let's put the label around it. Do fields in lots of different ways. I just saved it. I have, as far as extensions go, I use the prettier extension, and then I have it so that in my preferences, settings, format, save. So I have editor format on save, and at some point it basically asks you which type of formatter, and I use the prettier one. And this makes it so all I have to do is save something, and then it basically formats it nicely. Let's just take a look at this right now. Okay, useState is not available. Import with React. Yep. All right. UseState is not defined. Yes, it is. Okay, so we got a username, and we've got a username field. It's hardly formatted, but we can resolve that. Okay, and we want a password, of course. And then type equals password. Value equals values password. We can also just do values password. We can do the same thing for this. And then change equals well, you take this a step further and make a basic input. Export function input, and it takes a name, it takes values collection, it takes set. Nope. Let's do something a little bit more advanced. No, let's keep it simple first. Okay. Update value, and we should also have a label. So this is going to be very much like this. Whoops. What's going on here? Having trouble copying and pasting. Oh, no, this needs to go away for right now. Okay. I actually don't think that this is a great way of working with our thing. So, and type equals text. We should put a div around here, and we'll call it. We'll give it a class name. Just gonna use class in React. We'll call it input wrapper. That sounds good. Okay. Label. Name. Values. Name. And on change, we will update value. I think eventually we'll move this to have something like a provider or something, but constant update value equals, and takes an event. Actually, we'll do change. Name value. So this will set in the values array, values object is going to set a name thing to a value, and this is going to be e.target.value. We already have the name here, so we don't really need anything there. Now update value. Takes a name, takes a value, and set fields. What we want to do is we want to say dot fields. So we're basically bringing all the fields, but we're going to say name, and you put in brackets to actually be dynamic about that. Equals, oh yeah, very simple. All right. Constant declarations require an initialized value. Constant constant equals there we go. All right. And we can take these guys here and change them over to input name equals username. Then we have constant input props equals fields. Wait, I want to change fields to values. That's better. Okay. Values, update value, and that's it. Okay. And we can go label equals name and input props. And just so we can test things out, just do that. Username, password. So we set the type to password to be a password. And yeah. All right, look at that. We type. Okay. Not sure why this is actually styled the way it is. So all of my styles are in CSS. It looks like I already have some stuff here for this. All right, username, password styled. All right, that's cool. Now we don't really want this input to be here. What we can do is file. We can either make this let's just make it an input.js. There we go. And sign in. Now import export default function, and then import input from components input. Cool. There we go. So we can set using this password I think these inputs are just way too large though. So it's nice when it scales up and down. You know what? Let's say make that max width, I don't know, 500 pixels. Sounds about right. That's great. Now, and these are all underneath input wrapper. So just make a section for this. It should still stay the same because it's already wrapping with input wrapper. Let's make it so labels have some sort of settings. So I'm going to use my handy dandy ruler. It's called Measure It. And let's make it so inputs are... No, do we want to make it so they're under it or below it? Let's make it so display block. Oh, that's nice. All right, so I don't need to actually set a width. So now we can have smaller or larger. Eventually what we'll do is we'll make this thing respond to whether or not the screen is like mobile sized or not. But for right now, we'll just focus on desktop. Styling is always something you can always just keep modifying later, as long as you keep your elements reasonably isolated. All right. So let's put a button. We can do. Well, let's just make it so there's a submit button. File submit to JS. Do we want to do that? I don't know. Let's back that off for a second, because we can just do input type equals submit, value equals login. All right. So one thing we should do is, that's the wrong thing. There we go. Okay. And what we should do is first, instead of doing that wrapper thing, let's do field set. I kind of like having things wrapped in classic HTML elements. This way we're following the right standards. So let's say we want to have submit. All right. We're going to follow all the same things. Border radius, width. Let's see what that looks like. Don't look like anything. Oh. Helps if I do that. Oof. Oh. Let's give it some height. You know what we'll do? So we're just going to use all of the same stuff, and then we're just going to override things. Height. Let's make it 1.5 EM. or maybe 3 EM. Those big fat buttons. And we'll margin 20 EM. Beautiful. I think that we put wrapper margin 1 EM. Sounds like a great choice too. What's this problem? Put wrapper. Oh, I don't know why I put a colon there. Okay. Let's just do margin. So we'll set top bottom to 1 EM, and we'll do left and right at 0. Yeah. Let's do the same for this as well. We don't need this stuff indented so much. Max width. Let's make it smaller, 300 pixels. It's kind of weird to have such a huge button. All right. Font size. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Font size. Whoa. Too much. That's better. Okay. Need some hover. Light gray. Coral. Let's see what that looks like. It doesn't look like anything to me. And hover. Ew. Well, let's do the eyedropper. Caliper going. Nope, that's not really what I want. Yeah, let's do eyedropper. And copy color. Well, at least we have a theme. That's nice. I think it could be a little bit lighter or something else, but whatever. Thing is, I'm using SCSS, so I think actually color logo Godot blue. No. Not sure why the numbering is slightly different, but there you go. Now it looks the same as the robot. Got 3 main colors on this side. We can always add more colors later. Alright, so we got username and password. But what if you are not signed? What if you are not a current user? Alright. So, export default function login. So this is going to be this page. Actually, what if we do something like this? Yeah, it's kind of confusing. Isn't it just like? Yeah. Router. Link to roles register. And we can say sign up. We can say account. That's exciting. Oh, yeah, we need to wrap this with something. You know what? I really like to do this. Div class name equals page, and then view page dash sign in. And this makes it so we can do styling strictly for this page, and it automatically gives it nice classes. So you don't have to come back and change these things around too much when we're styling. Okay, so how's that look? Okay, so oh god, there's no register page. Well, looks like we're gonna have to take care of that. So first, this is gonna be basically duplicative sign in. You know, really don't like having duplication, so let's delete that for a second. All right, so new file, sign in. That was loud. All right, well, that's 30 minutes up. But let's finish up this one thing. So we're going to call this one sign in and register.js. Next. I don't know why I use JS and JSX. I don't think it even matters. But let's take all this, put this here, sign in and register. We can say action is something you would pass into this, and action, we'll put that right there. Actually, we'll call it title. Title, okay. And sign in and register, we'll do something much simpler. We'll import sign in and register from components, sign in and register, and export default. Yep. All right. And it will just simply return sign in, register, with the title equal to sign in. Just do that. All right. Super duper simple. Let's go back to here. Looks good. All right. Now sign in and register. We can also do copy you, register, might change this to join or something like that later. I think it's more modern nomenclature for this sort of thing. Now we also need to, in our app, we need to register. Okay. So, and title, register. So now, register. This to be imported in. There we go. All right. Now that's good. If I click on sign up, if I click on sign in, That's interesting. Let's see. Sign in. It says register on it. Oops. Sign in. register says register. Okay, so we were a little confused there. Sign in says sign in. Or sign up, it switches to register. They're both being passed through the same component. But what's nice is we can do things like, when you're on the register page, we can throw in username, email address, we can do retype password, retype password, and this can be if let's say if title equals register. Close parenthesis. There we go. And do the same thing for retype password. So we have register has these extra fields. And if I go to sign in, I have only these two fields. And the value for this can be just simply title. So we can sign in, account, register. And this would be title equals register, do something, and if it's login, do something else. So that's what I call it. Sign in. Okay. What do I call it down here? Sign in is one word. Okay. So sign in. Oh, I got that backwards. Okay. Already. Sign in. There we go. All right. So we can sign in. Oh, no, sign up. Sign in. Sign up. Okay, so we can flip back and forth. And it's a good stopping point for today. Going to use our handy dandy tower. Wait a second. And we got a bunch of stuff in here. And just get more stuff. Delete this guy. Trash. We added some components. We added routing before until and pages. So let's stage all these. Add, login, and register. Next. Up to API. Alright. Commit all that and push it up. And that ends our session for today.